What are the implications of what the two speakers before you, and I'm sort of paraphrasing for them, soaring high end and a falling low end? What are the implications going forward? Because we are on the cusp of 2024, and he referred to how next year is likely going to be. What, in your view, are the implications?
So, Siddharth, I think if you look at people who don't know which port they're headed to, no wind is favorable, right? You look at the global economy and the way things are, multiple shocks to the system. That is the backdrop. That remains the backdrop. But even as I say that, global VIX is at less than 12, which is, I think, Jan 20 levels. And the point I'm trying to make is the backdrop is such that the Indian economy or the story is going to be a standout one, simply for the reason that you need to look at the next 5-year growth projections, right? This backdrop that provides us. At the current juncture, global economy is going to grow at less than 3%. Now, that sounds like a decent number, but it is down from 4.9, which is way higher. And this is the lowest since 1990. In the same time frame, India has been one of the fastest growing economies for at least 7 odd years. And if IMF projections come true for the next 5-year period, India will be the fastest growing economy in 11 out of 15 years since 2014, for which the IMF has that data. So I think you need to look at how the economy is doing in midst of these global shocks. So once in a century shock, COVID, and the digitization story comes into play. You have people attacking the Capitol building in the US, for example. And here in India, we've had 9 state elections and all these transitions are so smooth, right? So this is a complete contrast. We have growth with stability, political stability, and certainty. Now, what this does, and you're talking about India and Bharat, mind you, the definition of Bharat has changed now, right? So please be careful how you use it. But the point I'm making is the denominator makes a hell lot of a difference. And if you were to look at, say, just 6% growth for the next 5 years, which the IMF is talking about, add 4 or 5% inflation, 11% nominal growth is a huge number. And if you use that rule of 72, this is an economy that's going to be doubling every 6.5 years. And that is massive. And that's just the denominator. And there will be sectors and companies which will grow much faster than this. So I think this is the global backdrop. And even the rates, for example, the Fed might do whatever, as Indrajit said. In India, the rates are still back to where we were just before the pandemic, right? So they're not restrictive. And therefore, we are probably in a Goldilocks period where whatever the rest of the world does, that 6 to 6.5% real and 11% is going to do wonders going forward.
So imagine, and as he put it, 6.5 and maybe even 7% is something that most countries across the world, the developed economies, would give an arm and a leg for.